G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering everything that happened today in the Twitch Streamer Bowl. I know it's not completely competitive, but it was honestly such a fun tournament with ridiculously stacked games. There was 4 games of active surge on pretty much every single threshold. It was really good fun. We had run-ins with old school players. We had Ninja versus Reverse 2K. We had Tfue popping off out of nowhere, completely dominating very well-established pros in the scene. We of course had Clix take out the crown back to back, but that's not all I'm going to talk about the OGs. We had Nickmercs playing today and SypherPK, and I guess maybe today's Streamer Bowl kind of rekindled that love, because it looks like we've had confirmation that SypherPK and Nickmercs are going to be competing in Trio FNCS together. So I want to talk about a few options of pros that I think could fit their team, or what that's maybe going to look like. I also have to talk about at the end of today's video, this happened a few days ago, but I didn't have a chance to talk about it, how we've had Cloud9 completely pull out of Fortnite, and now we've had TSM do the same thing, pretty much completely pull out of competitive Fortnite and drop their entire existing roster. Remember guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me so much. And if you haven't already, check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. I stream every single day live for at least 8 hours. I'd love for you to swing by and have a chat. If you guys somehow missed the Streamer Bowl, it was a 4-game tournament of trios. The teams were made up of 1 pro or content creator on Twitch, 1 NFL player, and then a 3rd player that was decided by a draft pick. There was some qualifying games a little while ago, and basically the pros got to pick which 3rd player they wanted to play with in their team. And if you missed the leaderboard, you had Clix coming in first on 94 points. He is now the back-to-back 2-time winner of the Streamer Bowl. You had Scoped tying for 2nd with Tfue on 78 points. Tfue, who not only doesn't play Fortnite anymore, doesn't play competitive Fortnite. He beat the likes of Chap, Ronaldo, Booger, like top tier pros were playing in this. Reverse 2K, the ex-FNCS champion. So Tfue absolutely dominated. I want to do a little bit of a rundown of the tournament. No one can say Clix didn't deserve it. He played so ridiculously well, winning 2 of the 4 games, and in the last game getting a 4th place. The only game they struggled with was when Clix got headshot sniped early in the game by Nate Hill. Other than that, he looked insane. Mechanics as ridiculous as you'd expect, but honestly, the kind of, I don't know, the IGL skills of Clix to lead 2 players he's never played with, one being an NFL player, was really impressive. The comms were really good. The endgame decision making was insane. The last game he had to clutch up solo to win the tournament, and he did. But Tfue, man, Tfue doesn't play competitive Fortnite anymore, and he came 2nd, 4th, and 7th. And the 2 second places, he was the last player alive. He clutched up. He wasn't like the 3rd pick. He was the pro who was playing with an NFL player and a random. And he came 2nd twice. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, it was a charity tournament, it was a pro-am, there's NFL players, there's randoms. These were active Storm Surge lobbies. 2 of these games went right down to almost a heal off, just finishing before final closing zone. So these were stacked tournaments to test how well actual competitive players could go. There was Storm Surge. Again, Tfue had to figure out in a meta he hasn't played, in a game that he hasn't played, how to manage his Storm Surge from an uncontested drop. They were dropping like Coral Castle Shark, which is a pretty tough rotate, to then manage to go on and place. He had an average placement of, what does that mean? Like a 4th? That is insane. We had some other big moments in there as well. So many throwbacks. We had Nickmercs dropping at Salty Towers. We got to see Nick running around in the main building at Tilted, and it felt so right. It felt so great. We had Ninja going head to head with Reverse 2K in a fight and just losing to him, which was so unfortunate. We just had so many big moments come back, and it really did make me miss the old scene, or just even these pro-am tournaments in general. I know it's $1 million for charity, but really all the players were playing as if it was $1 million for them. The games were solid, and everyone was having a really good time. And like I said, touching on those old names coming back, we had SypherPK playing, we had Nickmercs playing, and the whole time I was watching, it really looked like they were having a good time, especially Nickmercs. SypherPK obviously hasn't quit Fortnite, still making content, still playing. Nickmercs came back. I made videos in the past about how he was back and how he talked about how he wanted to play FNCS, but things kind of went silent. I think they were getting a lot of issues with stream snipers trying to play arena. They played a couple scrims and it kind of fizzled out, and you know, Nick went back to Warzone, and I thought that was the end of it. But no, it looks like today's tournament rekindled his competitive spirit for Fortnite, because we got this tweet. We had SypherPK tweeting out after the tournament, what cracked out pro is going to lead Nickmercs and I to glory in FNCS, rise to the occasion. So not only is Sypher going to play FNCS or Nick's going to play, they're going to play together, which will be insane content. But let's talk about who maybe they might play with and who jumped to the opportunity, because this is a lot of clout. This is ridiculous. This is enough to actually break top tier teams up. I know FNCS prize pool is looking really solid, and I'm not going to lie, SypherPK Nickmercs, it's going to be hard to get them to a reasonable placement, but it is possible. But who could actually do it? And in the responses, you had everyone you'd expect kind of memeing. You had Saf saying, if you say so, to which SypherPK responded, snake your team for 5k cash, in brackets more than the FNCS prize pool. Obviously, Saf, one of the favorites to win it, is looking at a little bit more money. But again, you know what I mean? Like, this is a crazy opportunity. I don't think Saf's actually going to. You had on the flip side, you had Stretch tweeting out a gift, the time has come. You had Coop saying, responding. You had Blake responding. You had Nickmercs confirming that he's in, and you had Arab responding. So who do I think could actually fit this team? Honestly, I think the one with the most potential in this response of actually happening and doing well is Arab. As much as I'm thinking, Arab is the kind of person who, you know, he would drop his trio to go play with these guys for the chance at content. He is the content machine after all, and it would kind of fit. If you need someone who's got really good game skills, really good at communicating, really good game knowledge, but can also have some fun and make some content with the big guys, it's probably going to be Arab. And he has a great relationship with Nick. They've known each other since, you know, before World Cup. If you remember, obviously you had Arab's sound effect, that's my boy Arab. So they obviously know of each other, and I think Arab could kind of fit, because I was even talking to Colazo about this on stream, who, you know, is a pro who's played with Nick a lot in the past and SypherPK, and I made the joke like, hey man, like, what does D-Roller and Class think about you leaving them for SypherPK and Nick? And he said, look man, if I wanted to secure my future and I wasn't more competitive, I would go play with them. He's like, I would 100% do it. This is the opportunity of a lifetime as far as content goes. But like Colazo said, he's like, look, I'm just too competitive. I really want to do well this FNCS. And maybe if it was just one of them, like just SypherPK or just Nick, I'd be willing to, you know, play with like D-Roller, another pro, and, you know, have them just frag out at back of top and lead them. But he's like, look, both of them together in FNCS is going to be really rough. And I kind of have to agree. They could do well. Maybe they can learn really quickly. SypherPK obviously like good at the game, knows what he's doing mechanically. He's watched like, you know, tournaments before. He's watched stacked games. He's played in them. I've seen him play in active Storm Surge games like today. He handles himself really, really well. It's not to the caliber of like obviously top 100 elite in NA East, but it's still good. Nickmercs is where it's going to get a little bit harder. Really good movement, really good aim, but obviously is, you know, quite a few seasons behind, especially competitively. So them combined, they're going to need someone who can lead them really, really well, but also hold their own in mid-game fights, because that's kind of where they'll struggle. If they try to like key a mid-game fight in good lobbies, I'm talking like semifinals, heats or above, it's going to be really hard for them to hold their own unless they're going to put some crazy amount of time in. I mean, Nickmercs and SypherPK are some of the veterans of Fortnite. They have got skills and they can develop their skills quite quickly if they put in the time. I just don't know if they're at that point yet. I don't know if they're going to be willing to scrim or, you know, play creative for a few hours a day to really get those skills up. I want to make sure I'm making this abundantly clear. I'm not trying to smack talk Nick or SypherPK. Both of them would probably still body me in a reasonable fight, so I'm not trying to diss them at all. It's just the same as if someone asked me how would I go in FNCS in NA East. The top 100 or even the top 500 NA East are a different beast. They are insane. The game at that level is ridiculous. You have to have God aim to get your Storm Surge tags, God mechanics to hold off mid-game fights, insane game knowledge to play in active Storm Surge lobbies constantly in endgame. You know what I mean? But with the way the format's going to work, with 4 heats for NA East and people who already qualified not being able to play in future weeks, this would be the format where potentially a team like SypherPK and Nickmercs could do quite well in the qualifying weeks, very potentially make semifinals, and even he's from there. So I'm excited to see it regardless. I really, really hope they find a good third and they take it seriously, because that is going to be some of the best content we've seen in competitive in a really long time. The The last topic I want to talk about, and again, this happened a few days ago, but I didn't really have a chance to fit it into a video. We have had TSM pretty much completely pull out of Fortnite. They fully pulled out of competitive Fortnite. They dropped their existing roster of Macwood, Fernando, and SypherPK. This was devastating. Now, I know what you're going to ask next. What about Emad, GG, and Ops? They've kept their content creation team, so obviously Emad and Ops still making content for Fortnite, but they have dropped their pro players, even though obviously Fernando has been streaming a fair bit. I know not to the numbers when they first signed him, but was still making content. But yeah, it looks like it doesn't matter. We first had C9 pulling out of competitive Fortnite. You remember all the drama with Vivid there and Chap. They stayed in with a few of their players, but TSM just pulling the plug completely, dropping 3 of, you know, the biggest names in competitive Fortnite. Macwood and Saf, both 2 of my favorites to win FNCS. Just like that, they're now free agents. I know your next question might be why, because I mean, like I said, 2 of these guys could very well win the next FNCS, and it comes back to a topic I've talked about in previous videos. You may have missed it, but orgs just aren't really, I don't want to say welcome in Fortnite, but they're not facilitated like they are in other esports. You've got like Counter-Strike, Rocket League, League of Legends, where, you know, there's massive tournaments all the time. They get huge brand representation because, you know, they do interviews with the players, they show them on stage, they're wearing the jerseys, they've got all the, you know, they've all got all their sponsors on it, and that just doesn't happen in Fortnite. Rocket League even has, you know, org skins for cars. You can drive the Ghost car, which is crazy because Rocket League's now owned by Epic, but a lot of that stuff was brought in before Fortnite. But there's been a history and lots of reports of Fortnite and Epic Games just not really making it easy for orgs to be involved in Fortnite, to run tournaments, or just kind of get that investment back from the players, because Fortnite pros, they make a lot of money. They're usually expecting a lot of money as a salary because of the huge followings they have and the huge reach they have, which is great. But unless they make content kind of doing like what NRG or even Power is doing down here, down under, you don't get that big return back from such big followings because you can't really get sponsors involved and you can't monetize them. So as much as this is devastating and I'm really sad to see it, it is pretty understandable when you look at the business side of orgs. Outside of just why would you drop 2 of the best players, you got to look at what is that actually earning the org though. It makes sense too when, I mean, TSM kept both their content creators on. They kept Emad GG on and they kept Ops. Emad GG had a different response to the whole situation. He just tweeted out, "Today is a sad day." Obviously, being really close friends with Saf, especially living with the guy, obviously probably feels bad about the situation. You had Ops tweeting out though, and on another note, at TSM is the best org. I'm so happy with everything they do for me, and it's a lot. So kind of making sure that people in the community know that TSM is treating their members well. I guess they're just pulling out a competitive Fortnite. Content creators is where they're getting their return on investment. They want to keep the guys because Ops is obviously pulling crazy numbers on the stream. Same as Emad GG, getting their name out there and making content. And look at orgs like Luminosity. They haven't signed that many pro players, but they've signed some of the biggest content creators in the world, like Fresh or like Muselk, Nick30. So it looks like orgs are seeing that when it comes to Fortnite specifically, content's king. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching and all the support on not just my YouTube channel, for those of you guys coming out and checking the Twitch. It really does mean the world to me. If you made it this far, please chuck a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.